My name is Kelsey, and I'm 28 years old. I was sitting in my small apartment, exhausted after a 12-hour shift at the hospital, when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my dad. 7 words that would change everything. Don't come home. We sold your stuff. I stared at those words until they blurred. My heart pounded in my chest like a trapped bird. This couldn't be real. This had to be some kind of mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. And the worst part? I'd been paying their mortgage for 3 years. Let me back up. Because this story isn't just about one terrible text message. It's about the slow unraveling of a family I thought I knew. It's about discovering who people really are when money gets involved. And it's about learning that sometimes the family you're born into isn't the family you deserve. If you're watching this right now, I need you to know something. This isn't easy for me to share. But I'm telling this story because someone out there needs to hear it. Someone out there is giving everything to their family and wondering if they're crazy for feeling used. You're not crazy. I promise you're not. That text message came on a Tuesday evening in March. I remember the exact date because it was 3 days before my birthday. I'd been planning to drive home that weekend. My childhood bedroom was still there, or so I thought. All my books from college, my grandmother's jewelry box, photos from my entire life, gone, all of it. Sold to strangers while I was working double shifts to keep a roof over their heads. If you are watching this right now, drop a comment letting me know where you are viewing from. Before I tell you about this life-changing decision, hit like and subscribe to hear more real stories about family loyalty and betrayal that might just change how you see your own relationships. My hands shook as I called my dad. He answered on the 4th ring. His voice was casual, almost cheerful, like he hadn't just destroyed my entire childhood in a single afternoon. Dad, what's going on? What do you mean you sold my stuff? He sighed like I was being dramatic. We needed the space, Kelsey. Your mother wanted to turn your room into a craft studio. We had a yard sale, made about $800. $800 for everything I owned, for my memories, for the life I'd left behind when I moved out to pursue my nursing career. But Dad, I've been paying your mortgage. I've been sending you $2,000 every month for 3 years. Silence, then that's different. That's you helping family. This is our house. We can do what we want with it. Something inside me cracked. Not broke, not yet, but cracked, like ice on a frozen lake when the temperature shifts. I need to tell you how I got here. How a girl who dreamed of saving lives ended up financing her parents' lifestyle while they threw away her past like garbage. I grew up in a house that looked perfect from the outside. My dad, Richard, worked in sales. My mom, Patricia, stayed home. I have 2 younger siblings. My brother Marcus is 25. My sister Vanessa is 23. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. Middle class, comfortable, or so it seemed. The cracks started showing when I was in high school. Dad would come home from work angry. He'd slam doors and yell about quotas and unfair bosses. Mom would retreat into her romance novels and pretend everything was fine. Marcus was the golden child, the athlete, the one who could do no wrong. He played football and baseball. Dad never missed his games. He'd stand on the sidelines screaming encouragement until his voice went hoarse. Vanessa was the baby, spoiled and sweet and completely convinced the world revolved around her. She had a new phone every year and a closet full of designer clothes. Then there was me, the responsible one, the one who got straight A's and worked part-time at the grocery store, the one who applied for scholarships and studied late into the night. No one came to my academic awards ceremonies. They were always too busy with Marcus's games or Vanessa's drama club performances. I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself I was independent. I told myself I didn't need their validation. I was lying to myself. Of course I needed it. Every child needs to feel seen by their parents. I got into nursing school on a full scholarship. I was so proud. I thought finally they'd be proud of me too. My dad's response: "That's great, honey. Hey, can you help your brother with his college applications? He needs someone smart to write his essays." My mom's response: "Nursing is so hard, Kelsey. Are you sure you wouldn't rather do something easier, like teaching?" I moved out 2 months later. Got a tiny studio apartment near the hospital where I did my clinical rotations. I worked night shifts and weekend shifts and every holiday shift I could get. I graduated top of my class. I got hired immediately at the best hospital in the city. I was making good money, real money, the kind of money that made me feel secure for the first time in my life. That's when my dad called. His voice was different, softer, almost vulnerable. "Kelsey, honey, I need to talk to you about something. We're in a bit of trouble with the mortgage. I had a bad quarter at work. We might lose the house." My stomach dropped. The house? The house where I grew up. The house where all my childhood memories lived. I couldn't let them lose it. "How much do you need?" 2,000 a month would cover it. Just until I get back on my feet. Maybe 6 months. 6 months turned into 3 years. I never questioned it. I just sent the money. Every single month. Even when it meant I couldn't afford to go out with friends. Even when it meant I wore the same scrubs until they were threadbare. Have you ever loved someone so much that you ignored all the warning signs? Have you ever wanted so badly to be valued by your family that you'd give up everything? That was me. The dutiful daughter, the walking ATM, the fool. After that phone call about my stuff being sold, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation I'd had with my parents over the past 3 years. Something felt wrong. Really wrong. Not just the yard sale. Something deeper. The next morning, I called my best friend from nursing school. Her name is Tasha. She's the kind of person who tells you the truth even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. "Tasha, I need to talk." "What happened?" I told her everything. The mortgage payments, the text message, the yard sale. My voice cracked halfway through. Tasha was quiet for a long moment. Then she said something that changed everything. "Kelsey, when was the last time you actually verified they needed that money?" I froze. "What do you mean?" "I mean, did you ever ask to see the mortgage statements? Did you ever confirm they were actually behind on payments?" My blood ran cold. "No, I just trusted them. They're my parents. Babe, I love you, but you need to check this out. Something's not adding up." I spent my lunch break that day doing research. I learned that mortgage records are public information. I could look up my parents' house and see the payment history. My hands trembled as I typed in the address. The page loaded. I scanned through the information. Their mortgage had been paid in full. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. An entire year before I started sending money. I felt like I was falling, like the ground had opened up beneath me and I was tumbling into darkness. They'd lied. They'd been lying to me for 3 years, taking my money while I struggled, taking my money while I sacrificed everything. But for what? Where was the money going? I decided to find out. I know it sounds extreme, but I needed to know the truth. I needed to see with my own eyes what my money had been funding. I drove to their house that weekend without telling them I was coming. It was a 3-hour drive. I had plenty of time to imagine what I might find. What I found was worse than anything I'd imagined. There was a brand new truck in the driveway. One of those massive luxury pickups that cost more than my annual salary. My dad's dream vehicle, the one he'd talked about for years but could never afford. In the garage, I could see a motorcycle. Sleek and expensive and completely unnecessary. Through the window, I saw my mom showing off a new dining room set to a neighbor, mahogany, elegant, the kind you see in magazines. My money, all of it. Spent on luxuries while I ate ramen noodles and wore shoes with holes in the soles. I sat in my car for 20 minutes trying to decide what to do. Confront them now? Drive away? Pretend I'd never discovered the truth? Then I saw Marcus pull up, my golden child brother. He got out of a car I'd never seen before. A sports car. Red and shiny and absolutely brand new. He didn't have a job. He dropped out of college after one semester. He spent his days playing video games in the basement. How was he driving a $40,000 car? The answer hit me like a punch to the gut: my money. They'd been using my money to fund his lifestyle too. I drove home without knocking on the door. I needed time to think. I needed to figure out my next move. That night, I got a text from Vanessa. My sister, the baby of the family. Hey, Kels. Can you send me $500? I want to go on a trip with my friends next month. Mom said you wouldn't mind. I stared at that text for a long time. She didn't even ask. She just expected. Like I was an ATM with unlimited funds and no feelings. I typed out a response and deleted it. Typed another one and deleted that too. Finally, I wrote back, I need to talk to you. Can we meet for coffee? She agreed. We met the next day at near her college. Vanessa looked different than I remembered. Her hair was professionally styled. Her nails were perfect. She carried a designer purse I knew cost at least $1,000. Thanks for meeting me, I said. I wanted to talk about the money situation. She smiled, bright and innocent. Oh, about the 500? If that's too much, I can make do with 300. No, I mean all the money. The money I've been sending Mom and Dad, her smile faltered. What about it? Did you know they paid off the mortgage 2 years ago? Her face went blank, then guilty, then defensive. All in the space of 3 seconds. Kelsey, you don't understand. They deserve nice things. They worked hard raising us. They lied to me, Vanessa. They told me they were going to lose the house. She shrugged. Maybe they exaggerated a little. But you make good money. Why are you being so selfish about this? Selfish. She called me selfish. I left without another word. I drove straight to my parents' house. No more waiting. No more planning. It was time for the truth to come out. My dad was washing his new truck when I pulled up. He waved like nothing was wrong. Like he hadn't stolen 36 months of my life savings. Kelsey! What a surprise. We weren't expecting you. I got out of my car. My legs felt shaky, but my voice came out strong. We need to talk. All of us, right now. Something in my tone made him stop smiling. Is everything okay? No, Dad, everything is not okay. I walked past him into the house. My mom was in her craft studio, my old bedroom, filled with expensive equipment and supplies, thousands of dollars worth of scrapbooking materials. Family meeting, I said. Living room, now, my mom looked startled. Kelsey, you can't just barge in here and now. Something in my eyes must have scared her. She followed me. My dad came in behind her. Marcus emerged from the basement, annoyed at being interrupted from his video games. We all sat down, me on one side, them on the other, like opposing teams. I know about the mortgage, I said. I know you paid it off 2 years ago. The color drained from my dad's face. My mom's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Kelsey, let me explain, my dad started. No, you don't get to explain, not yet. First, I'm going to tell you what I know. Then you can decide if you want to lie to me some more. My hands were shaking. My voice was shaking. But I kept going. I've been sending you $2,000 a month for 3 years. That's $72,000. You told me it was for the mortgage. You told me you were going to lose the house. But that was a lie. We needed the money for other things, my mom said weakly. What things? The truck? The motorcycle? Marcus's car? Your craft studio? Vanessa's designer wardrobe. Marcus spoke up for the first time. Why are you making such a big deal about this? You have money. We needed help. That's what family does. I turned to look at him. Really look at him. This man-child who'd never worked a day in his life. Who expected everything to be handed to him. Who didn't even have the grace to look ashamed. Family, I said slowly, doesn't lie. Family doesn't manipulate. Family doesn't take advantage of the person who's trying to help. You're being dramatic, he said. Mom and Dad raised you. You owe them. Something inside me snapped. Not cracked this time, broke completely and utterly broke. I owe them. I owe them. I worked 3 jobs to pay for nursing school. I sent money every month while I wore the same clothes for years. I skipped meals so I could afford to help them, and they used that money to buy toys and luxuries while lying to my face. We were going to tell you, my dad said. His voice was small, pathetic, when, after you'd bled me dry, after I had nothing left to give, my mom started crying. Big dramatic tears that used to make me feel guilty. Used to make me want to fix everything and make everyone happy. Not anymore. Those tears were manipulation. Just like everything else. You sold my stuff, I said quietly. My childhood. My memories. My grandmother's jewelry. You sold it all for $800, while sitting on $72,000 of my money. We needed the space, my mom whispered. You needed the space, I repeated. But you didn't need my permission? You didn't need to ask if maybe, just maybe, I wanted those things? Silence. Heavy and suffocating. I want every penny back, I said. All $72,000. You have 6 months? My dad laughed. Actually laughed. Kelsey, be reasonable. We don't have that kind of money. Then sell the truck. Sell the motorcycle. Sell Marcus's car. Sell all the stuff you bought with my hard-earned money. That's insane, Marcus said. We can't do that. Then I'll see you in court. My mom gasped. You'd sue your own family? You stole from your own daughter. I think we're past worrying about family loyalty. I stood up. My legs were steady now. My hands had stopped shaking. I'm done, I said. I'm done being the responsible one. I'm done being the ATM. I'm done sacrificing my life so you can have luxuries you didn't earn. Kelsey, please, my mom begged. Don't do this. Don't tear this family apart. I'm not tearing anything apart. You did that when you decided to lie to me, when you decided my trust was worth less than a new truck. I walked toward the door. My dad called after me. If you do this, you're not welcome here anymore. You'll lose your family. I turned back, looked at each of them. These people I'd loved my entire life. These strangers who'd used me without remorse. I don't think I ever really had one. If you've ever had to walk away from people who were supposed to love you, drop a comment. Let me know I'm not alone in this. The drive home from that confrontation was the longest 3 hours of my life. I cried so hard I had to pull over twice. My chest felt hollow. Like someone had reached in and scooped out everything vital. But underneath the pain, something else was growing. Something I hadn't felt in years, anger, clean and righteous and empowering. I contacted a lawyer the next morning. Her name was Gloria Martinez. She was in her 50s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. This is financial abuse, she said after hearing my story. We can absolutely pursue this. But I need you to be prepared. Family court is messy. They'll paint you as ungrateful. They'll try to make you look like the villain. I don't care, I said. I want what's mine. The legal process took 8 months. 8 months of depositions and mediations and court dates. 8 months of my family telling everyone who'd listened that I was greedy and cruel. My dad called me twice. Once to beg. Once to threaten. I didn't answer either time. My mom sent a letter. 5 pages of guilt trips and manipulation. About how I was breaking her heart. About how ungrateful I was. About how I'd regret this someday. I read it once. Then I threw it away. Marcus sent a single text, "You're dead to me." I blocked his number. Vanessa tried a different approach. She showed up at the hospital where I worked, crying, apologizing, begging me to drop the lawsuit. "They're going to lose everything, Kelsey. The house, the cars, everything. They should have thought about that before they stole from me. But they're our parents. Don't you love them?" That question stopped me cold. Did I love them? I didn't know anymore. Love and habit had gotten so tangled up I couldn't tell them apart. "I love myself more," I finally said. "And I'm done setting myself on fire to keep them warm." Vanessa left without another word. I never heard from her again. Tasha was my rock through all of it. She came over every evening after work, brought wine and Chinese food, let me cry and rage and process. "You're doing the right thing," she'd say over and over. "You're setting boundaries. You're showing your self-respect." I also found a therapist. Her name was Dr. Sarah Chen. She specialized in family trauma and toxic relationships. "Your family conditioned you to believe that love means sacrifice," she explained during our third session. "They taught you that your value came from what you could provide, not from who you are." Those words hit me like a lightning bolt. My entire childhood suddenly made sense. The ignored achievements, the expectation that I'd always help Marcus and Vanessa, the way my needs always came last. I'd been groomed to be their cash cow, and I'd accepted it because I thought that's what love looked like. The court finally ruled in my favor. My parents were ordered to repay $40,000. Not the full amount, but more than half. They had to sell the truck and the motorcycle. Marcus had to sell his car. I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired and sad and relieved. But I also felt free. 1 year later, my life looked completely different. I moved to a new city, got a job at a children's hospital that I absolutely loved, bought my first house, a small cottage with a garden and big windows that let in tons of light. I decorated it exactly how I wanted. Bright colors and comfortable furniture and photos of people who actually cared about me. Tasha and her family, friends from work. Dr. Chen even made an appearance in one photo from a fundraiser we'd both attended. No photos of my parents, no photos of Marcus or Vanessa. Some people might think that's sad. I think it's healthy. I started dating someone. His name is James. He's a teacher. He's kind and funny, and he actually listens when I talk. He met my chosen family and they loved him immediately. When I told him about my biological family, he just held my hand and said, "That must have been so hard. I'm sorry they treated you that way." No judgment, no advice. Just compassion. That's when I knew what healthy love looked like. It wasn't sacrifice. It wasn't one person giving everything while others took. It was mutual respect and support and genuine care. I also started volunteering at a financial literacy program for young adults, teaching them about boundaries and healthy relationships and recognizing manipulation. Every week, at least one person would come up to me after class and say, "I think my family is doing this to me." And every week, I'd sit with them and listen. Really listen. And help them figure out what they needed to do next. Turning my pain into purpose didn't erase what happened, but it gave it meaning. Have you ever had to completely rebuild your life after walking away from toxicity? Comment below and let's support each other. Here's what I learned from all of this. What I wish someone had told me when I was 25 and just starting to send that first payment. You cannot save people who don't want to be saved. You cannot sacrifice yourself into their love. You cannot earn respect from people who fundamentally don't respect you. Family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up for you, who celebrates your victories, who supports you without expecting payment. My chosen family is small, but it's real. Tasha and her husband and their 2 kids who call me Aunt Kelsey. My coworkers who remember my birthday and bring me coffee when I've had a rough shift. James, who makes me laugh and never makes me feel like I'm too much or not enough. These are my people. This is my family. I won't lie and say I never think about my parents, I do. Sometimes I see a father and daughter laughing together and feel a pang of grief. Sometimes I wonder what holidays are like for them now. If they ever think about me, if they ever feel remorse. But those moments pass, and I come back to myself, to the life I've built, to the peace I've found. Dr. Chen told me something in our last session that stuck with me. She said, healing isn't about forgetting. It's about integrating the pain into your story without letting it define you. That's what I'm trying to do. Build a story where I'm not the victim, where I'm the hero who saved herself. If you're in a situation like mine, please hear this. You deserve better. You deserve people who value you for who you are, not what you can give them. You deserve to keep your hard-earned money. You deserve boundaries that protect your peace. Walking away is hard, maybe the hardest thing you'll ever do. But staying in toxicity is harder. It just kills you slowly instead of all at once. I'm not saying you should cut off your family. Every situation is different. But I am saying you should examine your relationships honestly. Ask yourself hard questions. Are you being used? Are you constantly giving while others take? Are you sacrificing your well-being to maintain peace? If the answer is yes, something needs to change. Get a therapist. Find your people. Set boundaries. Save your money. Build a life that brings you joy instead of draining you. You are not responsible for fixing broken people. You are not responsible for funding other people's lifestyles. You are not responsible for keeping toxic families together. You are responsible for yourself, for your own healing, for your own happiness. That's enough. That's more than enough. One more thing I want to share. Last month I got a letter. Not from my parents, from my grandmother's sister. My great-aunt Helen, she's 92 years old and lives in Florida. She'd heard about the lawsuit through the family grapevine. She wanted me to know something important. The jewelry box my parents sold at their yard sale. The one with my grandmother's things. My great-aunt Helen had given it to me specifically. She'd told my parents it was mine, that it was meant to be passed down to me when I turned 25. They sold it anyway, kept the money. Never told me it was specifically designated as mine. But here's the beautiful part. Great-aunt Helen invited me to visit. She had other things of my grandmother's, photos, letters, a quilt she'd made. Things my parents never knew existed. I flew down to see her last month, spent a week listening to stories about my grandmother, about her strength and her kindness and her fierce independence. You're just like her, Great-aunt Helen told me. She would have been so proud of you, for standing up for yourself, for refusing to be used. I cried in her arms. Not sad tears this time. Healing tears. Grateful tears. I found my family, not where I thought they'd be, but exactly where I needed them. So to everyone watching this video, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had to choose yourself over people who were supposed to love you? Have you ever walked away from toxicity even though it hurt? Have you ever rebuilt your life from scratch? Drop a comment and share your story. Let's build a community of people who refuse to accept less than they deserve. And if you're still in the thick of it, if you're still wondering whether you should stay or go, let me tell you this. Choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose your future. You won't regret it. I promise. Hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more stories about finding yourself after family trauma. Hit like if this resonated with you. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not selfish for wanting to be treated with basic respect. You are brave. You are strong. You are enough. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for reminding me that vulnerability creates connection. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, choose yourself. Always choose yourself.